What's up, everybody? It's ImmaLetYouFinish. It's show number 143. It is Memorial Day weekend coming up, the unofficial start of summer. This is also the time where one of us goes on a jaunt of eating across Europe. But don't worry, we've actually taped some shows in advance. So
they're good.
We have guests, you'll have new shows for the next 3 weeks. Our next live show will be the last week of June, basically, once one of us is back from
Oh, by the way, one of us just found out in further proof that no one escapes. One of us is pre-diabetic. What the fuck does that mean? Yeah, exactly. But one of us has decided to ignore that until one of us gets back from the land of baklava. And I will deal with the consequences then.
Right.
But I was like, is that an old age thing? Or is that just like, whatever? One of us will deal with it when one gets back.
Right. No, I'm telling you, that was like when all of a sudden I hit 50 and, me, and they were like, your pressure. I was like, I have perfect blood pressure. What are you talking about?
My blood pressure is like, I'm dead. My blood pressure.
I'm like, I've always had perfect high blood pressure. What do you mean? I was like, what? I don't. What? No, What do you mean? Yeah. Is this just because you get older shit?
Yeah,
like this?
One of us is not happy about it.
I think two of us have been not happy about it.
It's the first time in my life I've ever been told, outside of like drugs, obviously, and alcohol, that I have to cut back on something. And I'm like, what?
You're like, I don't understand the question.
What is the question? Cut back meaning what? What does cut back mean?
Is that English? I'm just trying to figure out what you're asking me.
So I shouldn't have a Luther Vandross sandwich? Allegedly, he used to put hamburgers in glazed donuts. Allegedly. I don't know if that's true or not. You never heard that?
No, did he really?
Allegedly. I met the man. I didn't see him eat a hamburger between two glazed donuts.
Well, I've seen him eat because he used to eat at a restaurant that I would go to way back in the day.
You know how you can tell if you're a real Luther fan? When someone says Luther and you go, fat Luther or skinny Luther?
And that's when I discovered that he could be not so nice.
I loved him. I had a real
this lady, she was so excited to meet him.
Right.
And I watched, and she was really respectful.
Right.
She waited for him to eat. She did not even approach him at the table. And this is what made it so bad. It was like, she waited for him to be at the door. So,
that's a bit much.
He was like, no, it's not a bit much. It's a bit much is coming to someone's table. I think when someone is leaving.
What I'm saying.
Yeah, he was at dinner. To be like, oh my God, Luther, I love you. And he just kind of like brushed her off and said something really rude in front of, and we were all so embarrassed for her.
Once you're actually leaving the building, you're fair game.
I was like, listen, I understand that could be annoying, but it's like, this black lady loves you. She did not approach you when you were eating, which I've been with artists and people don't give a shit. You'll be fork in your mouth and somebody will come over or you see them trying to sneak. My favorite is the sneak trying to take a picture where they think you don't see them, where they act like they're talking to a friend and it's like, we can see you sneaking a picture. Anyway, but I love Luther Vandross. Listen, he is still to me the undisputed king of R&B with that voice. There's nobody today who's even coming remotely close to him.
Nobody tries. That's how you know. There is nobody even attempting it because there's nobody who could do what he did.
Those vocals were just, who, and I've heard many of people try to, sing a Luther cover and, to varying degrees of success. But do you know, when I went to see Rasan Patterson.
Oh, well, he's the only one I could possibly think.
And know who else I've heard sing a Luther cover and tear it down to the ground? Motherfucking Kenny Lattimore.
But these
the ones who can sing, right? The guys who really can sing.
If you told me that Shantae Moore could do, these are like not the mainstream, but these are, I used to always call them the noises, the whistle only black dogs can hear. Right. Meaning there are just certain, not so much Luther, but there are certain R&B black pop singers that could survive forever on their audience and have never needed to expand. And those are two of them. Kenny Lattimore is one of them.
You know who else is like that? Jaheim.
Oh, totally.
And people don't realize that Jaheim is putting out those records,
all
and you
the
may
time.
not have heard, and they were going gold and platinum.
And Kim.
Yeah, he's another one.
Kim.
What is really what you said too. There is that audience, and it's like it has never really expanded beyond that. But that audience has been so solid and sustained.
The King's Theater circuit.
Which is
You're selling out a hall. You're selling out a hall. Doesn't matter.
With thousands of seats. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
It doesn't. The money, the check is still as good whether black people went to the show or white people went to the show.
That's right.
It's still the same damn check. You know. Mm-hmm. I remember interviewing, and then we'll get on the show. I interviewed Gerald Levert, who was the nicest guy in Nicetown when LSG was LSG was the thing, and we're sitting poolside at some hotel in Hollywood or Beverly Hills. And we're talking, and there's a family, a white family, in the pool, and we're talking about fame and stuff. He goes, "See that family over there?" He goes, "I could shoot up the entire pool right now. I have a #1 record in the country, and they have no idea who I am." And I'm like, "You are correct, sir."
Right.
You are real correct, talk. Sir. Nobody knows who they are. I know who you are, right? But nobody. The quality whites, Courtney. The quality whites.
You are. Who called you a quality white?
Elliot Wilson. It's the best thing it is the nicest thing a man has ever said to me. And it is definitely the nicest thing a black man has ever said to me. I was like, I wear that with pride.
You're like, "Hello, my name is Quality White."
Quality White. That's my drag name, Quality White.
That would be a good drag name.
It would be a really good drag name, but quality with a K.
Right.
Quality. That'd be a fabulous. All right. Am I the only one who thought Carmelo Anthony was already retired?
Well,
no, I'm being serious. I love Carmelo.
No, because
if you don't play for 6 years,
I thought it was an old headline.
I thought it was a typo.
I thought it was an old headline because, he did play. He didn't play this season, but he did play the last season. So what I'm assuming is he was available as a veteran for this season, but no one picked him up, right? So then he finally made it official and took himself out of that situation.
Okay. I love Carmelo. Yeah. They should retire his number.
Listen, it's so funny how we have all of these Knicks who are, who never brought a championship to the city, but are very beloved. And he is definitely one of them. People really love Carmelo Anthony. And they probably will at some point.
Yeah,
retire his jersey.
He just always was like on our side in New York. I mean, he's a New Yorker. I mean, he was raised in Baltimore too, but he just always, you saw him during the series, you saw him there. Mm-hmm. There was never any there was a little bit of drama around him with the whole Honey Nut Cheerios, Anthony thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but all of his drama really had to do with his wife and off the court. It wasn't. Really
there was nothing on the court, and he was great, and I always liked him. And really good basketball name, Melo. That's a great name. That's like his parents knew he was going to play basketball.
And the fact that he's a New Yorker, right? So I think that it was almost like the hometown boy comes home.
Yeah, we love that stuff.
And he won the national championship at Syracuse, right? So he won it in college. He's won more than one gold medal, I believe.
He's like
Olympics,
a B.
right?
He's like B+. He's not the A level, but if you know basketball and you really he's what everyone thought Stephen Marbury was going to be in terms of a New York kind of. But Stephen Marbury is making more money than God right now, so we don't have to do
He's the king of China. He's got his sneakers. He is the king. They've got statues of him. He's won championship. I love that for him. I love that for him. That's another story where you're just like, well, work.
Good. Why not? It beats being stuck in the Coney Island houses for the rest of your life.
You know what I mean?
All right. The Beyonce tour started, or what is it called? The Renaissance tour. Mm-hmm. So it started in
Stockholm.
Stockholm. So there has been some footage that has come out, official footage, and then there's fan footage, which, that's legit at this point, as long as they're holding the phone straight.
And that's all they do now is hold their phones. So you get to see the whole show just go on live.
All right. So we have discussed this, that no artist is critic proof. No artist is
None.
critic proof. Nobody is critic proof. Nobody. I'm sure that there are flaws in everybody. Mahatma Gandhi turns out to be not such a nice guy in some ways. Mother Teresa, possibly not but they have done great stuff. So when you can criticize Beyonce, and I have found, speaking as a quality white, that the people who are the most afraid or the most reticent to criticize Beyonce are white critics. Because I don't know, what do you really think that like you weren't being invited to the cookout to begin with? So what are you worried about? I just don't understand why every other artist is it, and it doesn't take away from her talent to say that things aren't great. So we've had this discussion about Renaissance. I thought it was a good album. You were much more supportive of the album.
Yeah.
And my issue with the album always was, there was always great songs. It's always great production. She's going to give you quality. She is a professional. I just didn't feel it. I didn't. And if there's any music,
and we argued about that. And we argued about that, and I have to come back to you and really, with some space. It's almost a year from that record, and now, that record came out in July.
In the summer, right?
July,
right.
And because I was like, I feel the references of this record. I was in all my Black homosexual feelings, but here's what and I still feel that way about the record,
right?
But when I'm watching some of the performance footage. Now, I know a lot of people online, there's been a lot of criticism of people saying she's not dancing. Why isn't she dancing as much as we're used to seeing her dance? And I noticed a change up in the dancers, and there's a lot of ballroom kids on this tour with her. Some of these new dancers, she's definitely like Honey Balenciaga, John Tate. She's got the kids up there. But house music is a feeling. House music, now, this is where I'm like, we're driving straight down my lane. The things that are being referenced in this music, I was there for. You know what I mean? It's like from the small rooms to the big rooms. And it's a feeling. And I'm seeing these house kids on the stage with her, and I love that for them. You're going around the world, people are seeing you, they're getting to see your artistry. But the choreography that I'm seeing them do.
Amy's making I'm like, it looks like Broadway.
I'm like, this is not the feeling of this music.
No, thank you.
It's not, it's hard to explain. Like, I think for anybody who doesn't listen to house, who doesn't understand, it's like, house is tribal. That's why when you see a lot of house music parties, the way people dance, they're undulating their bodies.
There has to be a messiness. Out of you.
Yeah.
There has to be a messiness to it.
But even in choreography, right?
Right.
It needs to come out of you in a certain way. If you want to look at people who are known to make this kind of music and you see their tours, right? Madonna comes from the club world. And if you look at a lot of her tours and you see that choreography, especially when they do dance music, the way those dancers move in that choreography, a lot of it's so acrobatic. Same with Janet Jackson, especially in her prime, Janet Jackson. That was a 2-hour, she would give you a 2-hour, 15-minute clinic on dancing. Right. And those dancers, you felt it come out of every pore in their body. What I'm seeing is gay music, gay music, that's such a weird thing to say. Music that really is coming from the gay subculture. But I'm looking at the movements and it's not matching the feeling to me.
No, I will say that one of the things about, I have not been to as many clubs as you have, but I have certainly gone to house parties. I've certainly gone to the, when Soul Summit in Brooklyn was in a little pocket park. There's an.
Oh my God! You remember it was in the triangle? It was a small fucking thing, kids. It was a small thing, but it wasn't this thing that you all know now.
We were probably dancing next to each other and didn't.
You know what I'm saying? Right.
I used to go down there and then But the point is, there's one of the great things about house music is that there is an abandon, there is a tribalness, there is a community, and there's a messiness. It's not about hitting the step. I mean, there are some people who are phenomenal dancers, don't get me wrong, but it's not about making sure there is no like set book for house music that you couldn't teach somebody house music choreography. And just looking at this, and again, to be fair, I looked at 5 minutes online of one song, but it just felt more like theater. And I think this gets back to her.
And listen, and it looks like a spectacle, right?
Oh, it looks like a spectacle. It looks beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's spectacle.
She sounds great.
She sounds amazing. Her costume's amazing. I'm just like, for me, I'm like, for the lack of, okay, kids, like, I'm like, where's the faggotry? You know what I mean? Where's that? I'm looking at those house kids who I've seen these kids break it down to the ground. I'm like, I need that feeling with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to, this
So it made me come back to what you said at the beginning of the record. We were arguing. You were like, it's a feeling. And I was like, what do you mean? Maybe da 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 da. But it's like with some space and looking at it brought to life. And now, to be fair, we're looking at things on video. The tour has not hit the U.S. yet.
It's not a fair assessment in a lot of ways.
It's not, but it is, because you also know what you see, right? And it's interesting how some of these fans who love her so much, it's interesting to hear them scream how much she's not dancing enough for their liking. And part of me, when I look at it, I'm just like, I know that you made this album. I wonder, is this really your favorite of your albums? Because I've seen that woman perform from small rooms to big rooms, and there's always a fire that comes out of her when she's singing her songs.
Right.
I don't see that same fire this time around. This time it feels like the grand diva giving a performance, but it doesn't look like it's coming out like all of the tours, like when she's Sasha Fierce or she's singing her breakup songs. You feel that coming, radiating even through a screen out of her. So it's a different record. It's a different kind of performance. The kids are still going to go see it.
Yeah.
But it is interesting for the first time to hear the fans pushing back. It's interesting that people feel like they should be able to tell you what kind of show that you should do, right? There's that.
Well, I mean, in defense, if you're putting out a dance music record and you're hyping it as a dance music record, and you were someone who said you should be dancing, if you're a dancer,
right?
I mean, no one goes to a Mary J. Blige show expecting her to dance, but when she does, oh my God, bless her heart, Mary is.
But they wait for that shit too.
They wait for it.
You want the Mary dance.
You want the Mary dance. Yeah. I mean, we saw Robin. She's not a phenomenal dancer, but you can feel it. Like I said, I'll walk away from the window today and duck in case the beehive comes after me. Maybe they're on break, but it's not. No one is immune to criticism. It's not a criticism. It's just I don't intrinsically feel like this is her music.
Right.
I don't feel like, because I have never felt that. I would feel the same way if Robin put out a country music record or something, just something like, where have you ever referenced this before? And suddenly it comes fully delivered, this entire package, you know what I mean? So, we will see, meaning other people who are going to the show. I won't see, but we will see. I mean, and it's also her first show. She does I've read that she has a foot injury or something like that. And the next topic. Okay. Okay, so every single, I'm just trying to be kind. You warned me about legal stuff. You warned me.
Too.
You called me up. Called me up and said, Amy, get the word alleged into your vocabulary. And I was like, okay.
Allegedly.
She has an injury. Whatever. Okay. So, every human being I know on the planet was at this Cruel World Festival this weekend.
I guess because everybody wants to see Susie, and it was
her
only,
it was more,
but that was her only. Even though she's touring for the first time in 15 years, that was her only U.S. date. So all of the tours are just overseas. So it seemed like an event, and I know so many people that love her.
Well, it was there were a lot of bands. Yeah. I mean, it was Gang of Four, it was Human League, it was like basically if the 80s, it was like an 80s, I think Echo and the Bunnymen, were they on this too? I mean, it was like basically everybody you listened to in the 80s, if you are of a certain age group, and Iggy, who, as far as I'm concerned, can play any festival anytime, and it was supposed to be like, I don't know, yesterday or the day before was World Goth Day. I did not know such a thing exists.
Yeah. Everything has a day.
I guess.
Everything has a day.
I mean, I always wear black and I'm depressed.
Right. What is World Goth Day even
I have no what I mean. I have no idea what it means. I think it taps into, like, I was never a big Love and Rockets fan, or I liked Bauhaus, but I think it's that kind of, anyway. So, and Iggy can do no wrong. Iggy can do no wrong. But, so it was a big...
Melo, he's a really nice guy, too.
Oh, my God, he's the nicest guy ever.
So nice.
Because he's from Michigan. He's a guy who grew up in a trailer park in Michigan. How many heirs can he possibly get? But, no, seriously. I mean, he's like... But so the show was... She was the headliner.
Right.
Susie. And the show was canceled. And then they rescheduled it for the next day because of weather. Severe weather, and these idiots are like, it said rain or shine on the ticket. It's like, there's a difference between rain and imminent lightning strike.
And electrocution.
Because one of us has been at a show where somebody was electrocuted, and it's not pretty to watch a human being go up in smoke, okay? It's not pretty. Yeah. So... And also, I'm sorry, like, you're a union worker and you're out there and someone's making $1 gazillion. You're like, no, I'll stand here in the rain with millions of dollars of equipment and fry like a little piece of bacon here. So she did play the next day. They didn't have to do that. They really honestly didn't have to do that. But it just always kind of...
And she played a longer set, too. The next day she played...
it kind of... I mean, I understand people's frustrations, but sometimes it kind of pisses me off.
People just want to be angry. I'm tired of everybody just being angry. Some things are out of your control. Stop being angry about the world. It's a show.
And
there is rain or shine, right? But there's also... thunderstorms and lightning.
Well, I mean, had there been all joking aside, if you're working, it's not even the audience, it's the crew that's at danger. I mean, really, honestly.
I've been at many a show in the rain, right? I perform with artists in the rain. Rain does not stop a show. As you can see, Taylor Swift performed the last couple of weekends in torrential downpours, did her whole show.
You know why? Because God is punishing her for that loser boyfriend she has now. That piece of work.
Yeah, but the fans love those rain shows, and she loves it.
No, but that piece of work, that is not a good look. That's not a good look, Taylor. That's the boy you go out with when you're in your 20s. But I digress. Continue. Like, you go out with the mess in your 20s, not when you're thinking about biological clock, tick, 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 tick.
Well, maybe she's not. Who says she's thinking about that? She could be like, right now, I just want to have a good time. You know what I mean? It's sometimes
you don't go out with a boy like that. Trust me.
All you girls stay going out with boys like
that. No, all you girls do. She's a woman.
And I know a couple of women that stay going out.
Would you I mean, he's not. He's a bad.
Well, is the sex good? Because I've made some noticeably shady decisions based on, but the sex is great.
Whatever. But anyway, the point being is that Susie Sue performed. She looked great. She sounded great. I did ask a question because someone posted about, goth. And I went, when did she become goth? Because she was a punk rock pioneer.
Because of her makeup. That's it.
She looked exactly like that when she came out. It was 1980.
And that's why they call it that. Because people think everything is one thing. That makeup made people feel like, oh, that's goth.
But there was no term for it when she came out. But when I was looking at the set list, it's interesting. She didn't do it. It didn't look like she did anything from the Scream. That's her first album. So
no, they said she did very little. This second night, when she had to stay a little longer, I think she did 1 or 2 songs that she added from her solo career, but mostly it was
not the solo career, the Scream. Scream.
What's the Scream?
That's her first album.
Oh, see, I don't know the album names.
Hong Kong Gardens. That was the album. That was her debut album. It was Susie and the Banshees, her debut. I'm just surprised because that was sort of, that's what introduced her. Hong Kong Gardens. Now, in, I guess, defense, Hong Kong Gardens in today's world would be considered racist. Because it's like a little Chinese, like ding, 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 right. Ding, and there's a reference to chicken chow mein, which is... So I'll give her that.
Right.
I mean, she did used to wear swastikas.
Did she?
Yeah, everybody did. Yeah, she was a little problematic back then. But, but anyway, yay. And she looks great. And I think that's exciting. I think so. I don't know if this is a tour, not a tour. The festival is the festival. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to travel.
Yeah, no,
right?
But she's on tour, but she's not doing, that was the only US date of the tour. All the other dates are back overseas.
I mean, people were even freaking out that she doesn't have black hair anymore. It's like, really? Do we have nothing better to complain about? It's like, do you
want her to look exactly the same?
Yes.
Yes. It's like they want her to look the same. They're like, Beyonce, if you don't dance more. It's like, I love how the public now is buying tickets and then they're telling you, like, you better be doing this.
That's because they're paying so much money for stuff. But it's like they want the people to be frozen in amber. Meanwhile, Iggy, bless his heart, is an old man.
Well, they never give the same thing to the man. It's always going to be the woman. It's like they're going to say this about Janet. They're saying the women, it's like, you guys come on. People have a list. And I think because women have given us so many iconic moments, people get stuck in a lot of these artists' iconic moments. But I liked it when you were, it's like, guys.
Well, and also because men basically do hate women. I mean, let's be honest. They resent us for so many. They love us, but they hate us. They resent us for our supernatural abilities to reproduce and do the same job for less money. They're envious of that. All right. I don't even want to talk about these two heifers, but you talk about them. I'm like over it. That was like fun. It was like doing poppers. That was like a fun 10 seconds of my life. And now we're on.
I just need to know. So my friend sends me this text.
All right, we Meghan and Harry, car chase, French Connection, blah 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 blah.
Sends me this text saying, "Oh my God, there's been a near catastrophic car chase." I'm at my computer, so immediately I turn on local TV because it's local news time.
Yeah,
and if there is a catastrophic chase happening through the streets of Manhattan. That I happen to live in, right. Clearly it's going to be on the local news. I turn in to talk about the debt ceiling. I turn to another channel. They talk about some local story. They turn to another channel. They're talking about when the pools open this summer. And I'm
what the rats are doing tonight.
I'm like, where is the catastrophic car chase?
The near catastrophic car chase.
With people driving on sidewalks and... This is all I'm going to say.
You can't even walk down the street in New York City that quickly.
My favorite part in all of it, though, is the one person in the car who's clearly used to a multi-camera shoot. Right. Because no matter what angle, she's like, "Oh, sweetie, I'm used to being on set with 8 cameras pointing at me." The mother's looking crazy. Harry's looking crazy. But Madame in the middle.
Yeah, she's good.
Every shot, she's perfect.
No, it looked like a wedding album.
It was like, I got to see shimmery contour on the cheek. She looked
amazing.
I was like, you looked amazing in every shot.
I will say this, though. I have to say, and we hate Eric Adams, our mayor, but one of the greatest moments of television I have ever seen is the day after all this. He was on Morning Joe. And Joe Scarborough was like, in a very kind of deadpan, so what? And oh my goodness, and blah, blah, blah. And Adams, it was all he could do to not bust out laughing. He was like, well, we're looking into this and, and Joe Scarborough going, on the streets? And they were driving? I mean, it takes me an hour to get home just to that. And they were on the sidewalks and Adams was just like, biting his lip not to have the entire set of people bust out laughing.
Except there's something that I keep noticing that he's not saying, and just like Keywell, they keep saying, well, we looked at the incident report. So there's something did happen, but they don't want to say what. And he's like, so it's all dumb. The whole thing. First of all, I just wish with them, it's like, fire your spokespeople and shut up.
Well, let's not talk about them anymore. They're inconsequential people. They do nothing for the world.
She did look great, though.
She did look great.
I will give that. I was like, this is
great.
I was like, this is horrible. You look fabulous.
No, she looked great.
She did. She looked great.
No,
and sometimes with me, I'm cheesy enough where that's enough.
No, she
That's enough.
Yeah, no, she didn't look like a woman who had been in a 4-hour.
No, she did not look like a.
And I'm not. Oh, yes, we all know how his mother died. Blah blah blah. But the point is, it is physically impossible. We'll say this, and this will be the last. It is physically impossible to have a 2-hour high-speed car chase in New York City, Manhattan. Full stop. It is physically impossible.
In Manhattan.
Midtown Manhattan. The most congested part. It's just impossible.
They were going from the Ziegfeld, which is, I believe, what's that?
56.
From 56.
Or 54th, something like that.
54th off of 6th Avenue.
Right.
To lower Manhattan, down by Battery Park.
Okay. Listen, everybody, we are native New Yorkers. It is physically impossible.
Guys.
Ambulances with people dying in the back of the ambulance.
Almost hitting pedestrians, driving up. This city has motherfucking cameras on every corner. Where is the footage of somebody driving on a sidewalk?
Because it didn't happen.
And everybody is ready for their fucking close-up. There's not been one person on the news being like, I was almost hit by a car. It was
well, the cab driver, and the cab driver was like, yeah, it wasn't that bad.
The cab driver who made himself available for everything. But I'm looking at the cab driver saying, yes, but you're the second part of the ride. What happened in the first part? Because that's where it was supposed to... Right. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It didn't happen. All right. Did you watch the Donna Summer documentary?
I did.
Okay, thoughts? Okay, good. That's what I thought too.
No, because here's it's a hard one because I really love Donna Summer.
Right.
And did I think it was terrible? No. Did I think it was informative? No. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I thought it was just
Donna wrote an autobiography where she talked about, everything in this in 2012. So it felt like a lot of home movies, which I like that they did that. But the narrative of it,
there was no narrative.
And honestly, she feels just as elusive as ever.
No, there was no narrative. First off, everything, it was like, and then bless her heart, her daughter did this with help, and that's great, and I understand. But, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And Donna Summer is in Germany and suddenly she comes back and she's a star. It's like, whoa. What happened? Like, what were the steps? How did she meet Giorgio Moroder? There is a famous story about her being in the studio, turning the lights off, being embarrassed to sing Love to Love You.
There's a lot of stories. It's like, it really didn't focus a lot on the music at all. I mean, we already knew that she didn't like, that image. She had talked about being molested. You know what it seemed like? It seemed like a very private woman who, died with all of her secrets intact and they left with her. It felt like a family full of mystery, right? Because she never told her children about being molested until I think the book came. Her daughter, who had been molested, didn't tell her parents until she was 19. So it felt like a family that had a lot of secrets.
Yeah, I didn't.
So at the end, I watched it and I was like, I love Donna. I don't feel like I learned a thing.
It jumped around too much too. It just and again, it's funny. I mean, I really like Donna Summer. I never was, her songs, watching this, you go, this was a theater kid who happened to become a pop star. Because it's the theater kid voice and you forget how big she was. But yeah, it just sort of jumped around a lot and it's worth watching. But again, everybody's like over the top praising this thing. I'm like, did we watch the same movie? Because it's like.
And it's not terrible. It just, to me, didn't really inform. And on that, you know what? Let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
Pantheon Podcast listeners, Christian Swain here to tell you more about my experience with Raycon earbuds. Our family now has 3 pairs of Raycon earbuds around the house, and my wife just grabbed a pair of the Headphone Pros to replace some headphones from a company that was double the price. And yes, she loves them. Now, if you haven't pulled the trigger on a pair of Raycons, or even if you have, but you're in the market for another pair because they're just that good, well, now is the time to check them out, because they just launched their upgraded model of the best-selling everyday earbuds. With Raycon's upgraded everyday earbuds, now you also get active noise cancellation, ergonomic design, and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once. New quick charge function, 3 customizable sound styles, plus awareness mode. Available in a variety of vibrant new colors to complement any and all skin tones. I even have a pair of earbuds in a cool green color. I have tried just about every earbud known to humankind, and these Raycons are fantastic. Seriously, if you've been wanting to check out Raycons, there truly is no better time. You're going to ask yourself why you didn't check them out sooner, and Raycon offers a 30-day happiness guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Go to buyraycon.com/Pantheon today to get 20% off your Raycon order, plus free shipping. That's right, you'll get 20% off and free shipping at buyraycon.com/Pantheon. buyraycon.com/Pantheon.
And we're back.
We're back. All right. It's almost summer, officially. The official start of summer, which means we can... and, traditionally, there's always like the song of the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard... what is the number 1 single right now? I should probably check that, right?
I don't even know what hold on. I'll look. I'll tell you.
It's probably somebody we've never heard of. It's probably a K-pop band that we've never heard of.
Charts.
Billboard.
See.
The Billboard. We should have probably done this ahead of time, but we're...
it's fine. Yeah, that's what computers are for.
Right. Well, anyway, there's always traditionally... It's not set in stone, but a song that becomes the song of the summer that really kind of, as it was last year, was, I would say, pretty much the omnipresent song. And especially in a city like New York, where you walk down the street and you hear things coming
Morgan Wallen is number 1 right now with Last Night.
The single?
The single. And
we're obviously not walking down the right street.
What, 7 weeks at number 1.
Okay. Well, okay. We're not walking down the... What is the number 1 single in the streets where people walk? He doesn't walk. He drives places. What are the kids listening to?
I mean...
What are the black kids listening to? Come on. Where's our Bodak Yellow? Where's our Dior? Where's our Dior?
The black kids still have SZA. She's still the queen,
Yeah, but you don't hear her blasting out on the streets. That's what I'm saying.
I do up here.
Yeah.
I do hear a lot.
I'm just wondering, it's like, where's the song of the summer? And in this age of streaming, can there really be?
Well, there was, because last year was still as it was, right?
Right,
And there's been, and that came out in like April and went all the way through the summer. Right now, nothing. Well, for me, the closest, and me and a lot of the gays of a certain age, is the new Kylie, Padam Padam, which literally...
Right, but you're not going to... Yeah, you're not...
But you're not going to hear that blasting on the street.
You're not going to hear...
It's just... we don't even have a list like we usually do of the albums coming in the summer that seems really exciting. It feels like a dead time where somebody could really break through if they had a really great moment.
Well, it feels like everybody is okay, I'm going to assume that Dua Lipa is going to come with something in the fall, right?
She's got a new song. Well, she's got a new song dropping Friday, because she's got songs she's in the Barbie movie. She's got songs on the soundtrack.
How great does that Barbie movie look?
And evidently in test screenings, it's funny.
Of course it's funny. I mean, come on. I mean, it just looks so over the top, fabulous, camp. And Greta Gerwig is so maybe the Dua Lipa, because she's someone who could certainly come back and everybody would fall in love with her all over again. But of the big, Beyonce obviously is not going to have another single, I assume.
Well, she just dropped America Has a Problem with Kendrick Lamar on it.
Yeah,
so
that's not going to be a song of the summer. Not in today's America.
But we'll see. We never know. Stranger things can happen, right? Because right now the lane is clear. So you never know what the song of the summer is until everybody starts playing. I don't know. It just feels like a dead. It feels like a dead.
I can't even think who's the. I mean, and again, I don't pay super attention or not as much. And I will say shout out to Jody Rosen. He's always talking about the new kind of, especially hip hop kid who's coming up. I don't know. I just haven't heard it yet, and it feels like everybody is. It's usually undeniable.
It's something that a lot of people threw their albums out, right? It was last year was big for all of the pop kids coming and everybody whose albums were delayed and held it because of the pandemic. So it felt like we got a bunch of albums in a row, right? And now we're there's nothing. It seems like a quiet summer, and
it's a quiet tour summer too.
And a lot of the pop superstars that have dominated for the past few years are kind of, that space gets younger and younger, right? And there's a lot of younger new pop stars who put records out, but there's nobody who's become the global moment. So it just feels like a free for all.
Yeah, this is the moment. I mean, this is the moment for a Doja and that kind of person.
And she's supposedly coming, right? Yeah, I believe there's something for her.
I'm not a huge fan of hers, but she's someone who could do it. Katy Perry is a non-entity at this point.
It's done. Yeah, Pop stopped playing her records. That's done. And
Selena Gomez I love, but she's sort of done. Justin Bieber's kind of on a hiatus right now. Whatever new young rap kid is, it'll probably come and we'll have no idea who they are because they all kind of sound like the same person.
Right, and didn't Drake say he's going to drop an album this summer? And that radio loves him, so depending what that is, he'll probably
his expiration date is coming.
Kinda, right.
I mean, I'm no fan of his, but his expiration date is kind of The Weeknd is going back to his name, his government name, so that'll be exciting. Isn't he? Oh my God, he's dating Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis' daughter.
Is he? I know they made they did the show together. I didn't know that they were dating.
It's literally so tiresome. It's this there must not be a Hadid around or something. It's just so tired. He tires me. I know he makes great music.
Well, he already went out with one of the Hadids. Remember? He and Bella. I think that was his girlfriend
I don't know. Anyway, so we'll. I think the best bet would be the Dua Lipa. I think she's somebody that people are actually looking forward to hearing something from. Actually looking forward to hearing something from. All right, what are you listening?
Motherfucking Padam. It has been literally on repeat since Thursday, and every time I try to listen to something else, I can't. I went shopping the other day, food shopping. And it's just been playing on a loop since Thursday. I love it so much.
I love it.
I love Kylie. And listen, I love when she's giving us a nice electro pop banger. So good. And there's this artist named Melo who's been around for a lot of years.
Meta, M-E-T-T.
Yeah, it's spelled M-E-T-T-E, but it's pronounced Meta. She's been around for a while, but she has a new single that she dropped called Mama's Eyes, and there's a bunch of remixes they put out on it, and she's on RCA now. She's based out of the UK, and it's so good, and the mixes are sexy and so good. So those two songs have just infiltrated my world, and it's just been bouncing between Padam and that over and over and over. I like really strong work. And Meta, the artist Meta, for some of you guys as a reference, was in the NERD Lemon video, the song that had the Rihanna vocals. She had the short blonde hair, and she was the dancer in that video. That's Meta, and this art and her music is great, and this song is great.
The dancer in that video was looked Hispanic, and they shaved her head. That one,
and her head was blonde. Yeah, and her hair. I think her hair was blonde. There's a blonde dancer girl in that video, close crop blonde hair. That's Meta. She's based out of the UK, and her music's great. This song is great. The remix package they just dropped is absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And first music in a long while, new artist is making me feel something. And I'm like, okay, you're really interesting. I like what you have going on. So I'm looking out for more stuff from her.
I always go to the New York Times. I know this is like so white of me, but I can't help it. Because the Times critics to me are consistently the best. Well, John Perales and Jim Farber, anything they say, I pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a new Blur single out, and
Blur
is never a band I paid much. When the Blur Oasis war was going
mm-hmm.
on, I was team Oasis all the way.
Mm-hmm.
But Damon Albarn has become an increasingly interesting person with Gorillaz and his work with Bobby Womack. Did he work with Bobby Womack? I think he did. But anyway, so they have a new single out called "The Narcissist." I mean, it's not a banger, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. It's they're at that age now. Men get reflective at a certain point in their life. Women are always reflective, but men get reflective at a certain point, and they are at the he's at the reflective part of his life. So that. I love.
It's the same trope that we see, right? The men at a certain point, male artists, they get reflective, and then they come back and they do the reflective album. The female.
Well, this is just one song.
Yeah.
This is just
Yeah, but there's an album coming. That's the thing. Yeah. There is an album. The album has been announced, and and then the women always, come back at a certain point, especially if they're pop, and we get the "I just want everybody to dance" movement. Well, if we could check mark those things on careers and see when people reach certain points.
Sparks has a new single out. This is their second single. I love them just because who else is giving us like this kind of wit?
Right.
And this is called "Nothing Is As Good As to Say It Is," and it's told from the perspective of a 2-hour-old baby. It's hilarious. The video is basically a 2-hour-old baby already wishing they could go back to the womb. And just being like, okay, I've been here for 2 hours and everything sucks already. So
that's hilarious.
It's hilarious. No, it's just sort of like, and the video is a bunch of doting mothers and screaming, pissed off, like, really, I went through all this and this is the best you got, lady. Right. So I love it. Bad Bunny has a new single, "Where She Goes." The first time he's had a single. The song is not in English. The title's in English, but it's very typical Bad Bunny, this sort of brooding with beats. I don't want to hear that he's overexposed. He's not overexposed. He's not overexposed.
I'm telling you.
All right. So
Amy and I will argue this. She feels like it's his moment. I do too, but I think he's also overexposed.
Well, he has to put out a single.
No, takes 6 months. You did 2 albums.
It took 6 months.
He didn't. He's just not gone away, but it's okay.
His expiration date is a lot shorter than a white male artist. Let him have his moment, because you know what? His fans. We'll see if the single tanks.
I think that I think he's showing that there's some changing rules. I think he can have a really long career, which is why I'm like, you don't overexpose yourself. There is something about letting people miss you a little bit too,
Well, we'll see. They miss him enough that it made the top singles of the week for the Pitchfork and the New York Times. So, Anoni and the Johnsons have a new song out. They are, you may know them from Anthony and the Johnsons, and they have the most beautiful, otherworldly, ethereal. I can't even describe what they sound like. And this song is very different because it's a little vibier. Mm-hmm. It's got a little Marvin Gaye vibe, though, as the critics said, but not too much. Mm-hmm. Just enough not to get sued.
Right.
Just beautiful, beautiful vocals. So that, and that's pretty much what I just checked those out, but I think the Sparks record will be fun. And they're touring. The old goats that they are. They're touring. And again, we will never get over the fact that they were two Jewish guys from the Valley. We all thought they were British.
We all thought they were. Remember when I thought Joyce Sims was British and you were like, bitch, she's from Brooklyn. I was like, no, I'm telling you.
I know. There are just certain people you just assume that they're so good they can't be American.
I mean, and she back then she gave me her style, her vibe gave me like UK black girl.
Well, if you had told me a diva was from England, I would have believed you.
Right.
I would have totally believed you. Of course she's from England. Of course she is. Even crazy ass Azalea Banks. If you had told me she's from England, I would have been like,
I love Azalea Banks. Musically,
yes.
Yes, she's problematic and can be like a lunatic, but I love that part.
No, the music is great.
The music is fucking great, man.
No, the music is great. She makes great house music.
Oh my God, she makes such great. She really does. It's like, listen, say what you want about her nutty ass mouth. When homegirl drops a track, it's usually a cute ass bop.
No, she makes and 212 is still a great song.
Still a great song.
Still a great song. On that note, could you please get us out of here, please? There's a car chasing after me.
There's a car chasing after us, and we just want to get to the Mr. Softy truck with no issues.
Oh, that's the song of the summer.
The Mr. Softy.
Sorry.
You know what the deal is, kids.
Wait. Sorry, we got so caught up in the $25 soft serve.
Right. Thank you for listening to us on the Pantheon Podcast Network, where you can find us every week on the main page or find us on our ImmaLetYouFinish page. Remember to keep talking to us at I'm dropping shit and ImmaLetYouFinish on Facebook. I'm gonna let you finish all one word. I'm gonna let you finish in Y on IG. Twitter, we don't talk about her. ImmaLetYouFinish podcast on TikTok.
I am no longer. I can't do it anymore.
It's like, I
can't do it anymore.
It's like, what's happening there? I'm gonna.
I can tell you, we know what's happening there.
Yeah. So, the next 3 shows are pre-recorded, so you will hear those with conversations with some interesting writers and documentarians and cool people. And we will be back for our regularly scheduled program, I would say, the last week of June, which is the high holy holiday for the homosexuals in New York, Pride Week, even though it's Pride Month.
Unless I meet someone who needs a green card.
Right.
And then...
Well, if you meet someone, oh God, you're trying. Oh my God.
No, I've done that already. I've done that already.
I think, but you should do it for a 90-day fiance because it'd be good promotion for the show. So you could, because all those people, whenever I see clips, they don't seem to like each other. Like they always seem to be
I am too fundamentally sane for 90-day fiance.
And I would like to know, since Miss Candace knows everything, what's the update on Chantal and Pedro? Are they divorced?
Oh no, they're divorced.
Oh, so the divorce has happened.
Yeah. And Pedro's lunatic sister and lunatic mother have their own show now.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they're a 90-day fiance where some guy has come over to date Pedro's lunatic sister.
No way. There's no way. Are you kidding me?
Hello. No. Yes. I mean, no, I'm not kidding you. And
sister and mother got a show.
Hello. They are a train
But you know what? The sister is reality TV. She'll throw bottles. She'll do anything.
Yeah, and so the mother they're part of the 90-day franchise now, where she's met an American guy. I forget the mother's name, and they go over there.
Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. The guy's for the mother, not the sister.
Yeah, the guy's for the mother. The sister has a boyfriend. The guy's for the mother. All right, we're really going crazy. But I told Candace, as much as
that show is airing right now someplace.
As we speak, it's 90 day. It's before. It's like they have a tropical edition of 90 Day, where dumb people meet hot people in tropical places. So there's like an incredibly, you want to rip their faces off. They're so annoying. 2 gay guys who are just like, ugh. And then, Chantal, I know, and
I love that you know this. I love it.
Well, I have to know it. My wife wanted, but I said to her, Candace, I love you. You know, I love you more in life, but I love myself more. I can't watch this. Yeah, but I watch it. And then there's like, hold for it, a white woman with children who meets a guy who works on a cruise boat. And of course she gets pregnant and now she can't understand. It's all the same show. It's a bunch of ding dong girls from the Midwest going, but I love him. And a bunch of Americans marrying Muslims going, but I don't understand why I can't eat pork chops. Or someone wanted to marry an Indian guy going, but I don't understand why we can't get married and you won't. Why it has to be an arranged marriage. Americans are stupid. That's all I want to say. Bye. But yes, they have a show.
And on that note, we're going to be leaving because Courtney needs to go. And he won't watch any of this shit, but he's going to commit to one episode just to see what
it's on. And now they're on Max.
Oh.
And I'm going to be out of town when the Succession finale happens, but luckily I'll be someplace where nobody even knows what that is. So I won't be able to tell me what happens. Don't tell me what happens.
And on that note, we'll see you soon. Bye.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.